Hey everyone, welcome to... Actually, I forget what episode of the Skull Mug this is. 25 or 26? I think it might be 26, I'm not sure. You'll see in the title, of course. I mean, hey, you're looking at this after it's gone up on YouTube, so obviously you know. Since we're getting close to Halloween, I decided we would do a beer that is the only Halloween-themed one that I have in my my stockpile as of right now. And it's a pale ale done by Brasseurs de Monde. So you can have a look here. There's a little sticker, unfortunately covering the label, but you can see the pumpkins there on the label. Yeah, it's 5.5%. I've had this for a while, apparently. Oh my god. I don't know if this beer is still good to drink, honestly, but I guess we'll find out. On the back it says, "A black cat crossed your path, haunted by a ghost, skeletons in the closet. Drink a pale ale Citrouille and get in the Halloween spirit. Its orange color coordinates perfectly with the pumpkins decorating your home. Real caramelized pumpkin, clove, and resinous hop aromas of citrus spice will overwhelm your fear with taste. This sweet, spicy, and herbaceous potion is reminiscent of pumpkin pies of seasons past. The only thing missing is the candy." This has been sitting in my fridge for 2 years. So I don't know what the shelf life of beer is. It's been unopened, so here's hoping that it's actually alright. Use my keys to fucking open the thing here. Let's go ahead and pour. Well, I'm gonna smell it first. I mean, it still smells fine. Oh, I love that sound. I'm actually a little nervous about this, but hopefully it's okay. Another thing too, on the back it says it pairs well with, let's see, we got cheese here, steak, cake, chicken, sushi, and chocolate. So that's interesting. I'll just show you that part of the logo up close so you can see if it'll focus. That'd be nice. Yeah. Alright. Ooh, got some on my nose. Yeah, doesn't taste bad to me. It tastes like it's still fine. It doesn't seem to have gone bad. I mean, it's been unopened. I'm honestly kind of surprised. I guess like you can leave beer closed in your fridge for however long and it'll still be okay, so that's good. I do like that a lot. The pumpkin spice flavor is actually like super present. It smells like really intense. Super strong. Yeah, you know, that's some good shit, in all honesty. So yeah, 5.5%. I actually quite like this a bit. Now, what I wanted to talk about today is the new Dune movie. In a way, not directly, because I haven't actually seen it yet. I've only seen the trailers. I've seen some people say that it's boring. I've seen most people say that it's fucking awesome. I'm inclined to believe the latter as opposed to the former, because I definitely trust Denis Villeneuve. I loved Blade Runner 2049. I thought the movie was fucking fantastic and a very faithful sequel to the original Blade Runner. So I have full faith that he is going to take this property and give it the treatment that it deserves. But earlier today, I just finished watching the 1984 David Lynch version of Dune, and I have some thoughts. Because earlier this year, I finished reading the novel because I knew this movie was coming out. And of course, if you watched the last episode of the Skull Mug, you know that I'm a fan of the guys from Deep Fat Fried, and Paul Zigo talks about Dune like ad nauseum, like he's obsessed with it. It's one of his favorite books. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna like check this out. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna see what all the hullabaloo is about. And I really enjoyed the book. Like the book is fucking awesome. I know it's a whole saga, but I've only ever read the first installment so far. I do intend to read the rest of the saga. I'll get around to it eventually. But as of right now, I've only read the first book, and I've just watched the David Lynch version of the movie. And I know that this movie was really fraught with a lot of production issues. Like I know that there was so much trouble going on, even trying to get this movie greenlit. Like it went through how many different directors, like I don't even know, before they finally settled on David Lynch. So, I have a lot of stuff to say about the movie because, in all honesty, I think the setup is really well done. I think that the first, 30, 40 minutes or so of the film are pretty good. I think it's pretty well done for what it is. I wish that there was a little bit more setup. Like, it feels like it goes by too quickly. Especially for how big and epic that the book is. But then when you get into the middle section of the movie, things get really weird. And I know that in the book, that's when stuff starts to get really strange as well. But when I say weird, I mean it's paced really poorly. It's like they just skip over a bunch of shit that you don't even get to that you read in the book, and you don't even get to see it in the movie. And then there's weird blind spots where if you were somebody watching this and you had never read the book, you'd be kind of like, what the fuck just happened? There's so much exposition, which is fine for a fantasy or like a high fantasy or a sci-fi novel or production like Dune is. Lord of the Rings has a lot of exposition as well. Star Trek, Star Wars, all these different huge properties do have a lot of exposition in them because you kind of need to do stuff like that to help set up the world. But there's a good chunk in the middle where it just skips from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and you're like, what even in the fuck is going on? The movie skips over several years, and I know there's been movies in the past that have done that. I'm pretty sure Conan the Barbarian is one of those movies that I watched that earlier this year as well for the first time. And you can do it well, and I feel like Dune was going for that same kind of approach where it's a great period of time passes and then you just pick things up right where they left off, or where this character has experienced a lot of growth. And that is what happens in the book, to be fair. But in this movie, it just feels like it was really tacked on, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel really bad for David Lynch because I've not seen all of David Lynch's movies. I've seen all of Twin Peaks, of course. I've seen 3 or 4 of his films, including Fire Walks with Me, Mulholland Drive, and Eraserhead, and now Dune. And there's obviously many more of his films that I have yet to see, like Blue Velvet, for example, that I do want to watch as soon as possible. But this is one of those movies where it's it was always a big regret of his in his career, and you can tell because it doesn't look anything like any of his other properties. I really wish that Jodorowsky had been able to make his version of Dune, because when you look at what he intended to do with this movie, it just looks fucking unreal, and the ideas of who they had to play each character, getting I think it was Orson Welles to play Baron Harkonnen, would have been fucking incredible. I think that would have been awesome. Getting a bunch of different rock bands to do the theme music for the different great houses. So you'd have one band that would do the theme for House Atreides, and another band doing the theme for House Harkonnen, and another for the Great Emperor, and all that stuff. And like, oh, it just would have been so fucking cool to see. And unfortunately, it just didn't come to fruition because Hollywood is full of shit, basically. Hollywood sucks ass. I've ranted about it before. Everyone knows that that's my opinion on it. But yeah, I think David Lynch's Dune, there's good things in it. You know, I really like the creature design. For example, like I think it's the navigators have like this really interesting design that I think was probably heavily influential for like the design of the I forget what they're called now, but the leader bugs in Starship Troopers. I feel like they were definitely influential towards that, which inadvertently inspired the Combine advisors from Half-Life. I think there's a lot of like parallels between those designs, and I really like the way that they look, so I thought that was super fucking cool. I also really like the design of the like, I guess the lackeys or whatever from the Spacer Guild who help navigators like get around and stuff. I thought their armor or their clothing, like their look, was super interesting. I really like the look of the Fremen and their still suits. I thought they were really well designed. Aesthetically, you know, this movie is fucking like fucking awesome. And unfortunately, I just feel like because Dune is so dense of a novel that you really can't do this in one movie that's just over 2 hours long. You know, the runtime of this film was 2 hours and 15 minutes, and a good chunk of that is like, you know, the opening credits and shit. There's only so much that you can do in that, and with a book that's as dense as Dune, I mean, that's why Denis Villeneuve is splitting this story into two films. You know, from what I understand, the first Dune movie ends with this big dinner scene where like House Atreides is meeting with different people who have been on Arrakis for a while, like Dr. Kynes and some other people like that, and that's like where there's like so much fucking tension, and like spoilers if you don't want to find out, it's like right before Duke Leto gets assassinated and Paul and Jessica get kidnapped. That happens in the David Lynch film, but there's no like big scene leading up to that, you know? Like in the book, there's this dinner scene and everyone there knows that somebody there is a traitor. And the main characters know that one of them is a traitor, but they don't know who it is, and it's like this really fucking tense moment. And apparently Denis Villeneuve's Dune ends right after that scene, right when Duke Leto gets assassinated, and then the rest of the book, which is where Paul and Jessica become allied, they get taken in by the Fremen, and Paul basically becomes Muad'Dib and becomes their messiah. That is going to be Dune Part 2. So I think that's the way that it should have been done originally back in the 80s, and unfortunately it just didn't turn out that way. You know, the Hollywood system, sometimes it fucks over creators, and again, I feel bad for David Lynch that, you know, this is the one movie in his entire career where it's just like he doesn't even acknowledge that he did it, you know, he doesn't even like want to talk about it. Kyle MacLachlan, on the other hand, one of my favorite actors of all time, he doesn't shy away from it at all. In the David Lynch Dune movie, Kyle MacLachlan was Paul Atreides, and I think he did a great job. I think he was a great actor. He is one of my favorite actors of all time. I love him as Dale Cooper. Like, he's one of my biggest man crushes. I just, every role that I've seen him in, I thought that he has excelled at. And it's cool that he and David Lynch have worked together on a lot of different projects, and it's clear that they have, like, you know, some kind of abiding respect for each other, if not a deep admiration. So that is really cool, and it definitely comes across on screen. You know, I don't think that MacLachlan would have went on to be cast as Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks in the 90s if David Lynch didn't enjoy working with him on Dune and on, I think he was in Blue Velvet? He was in one of David Lynch's other films, so yeah. Anyway, that's all I got to say about 1984 Dune by David Lynch. I'm going to go see the new Dune movie by Denis Villeneuve this coming week when I get a chance. I'm going to go after work and see it with some friends of mine. And there will be a review of that up on wherestrides.thebehemoth.wordpress.com, which is my review blog where I review video games, movies, music, books, etc. Basically any kind of entertainment or art that interests me. I will try and get a review of the 1984 Dune up on the website as well. So if you want to check that out, again, that's wherestrides.thebehemoth.wordpress.com. And thank you for tuning in and watching me drink some pumpkin spice beer since we're getting really, really close to Halloween. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to do another one of these episodes before Halloween. So if that's the case, then I guess I'll see you guys in November. Till then, cheers and peace out and happy Halloween.